Good morning. Happy coffee talk. It's Sunday morning. I am I have a new coffee mug today. It's amazing. My dear friend Sarah Scott gave me this. It is a tree silhouette mug and it looks like what are those called? The Northern Lights behind it. I've never seen the Northern Lights in real life, but that's what it reminds me of. And I'm drinking Black Rifle coffee this morning. Um, I am just sitting here and thinking about walking. Isn't it weird? Because I was talking to Sarah last night. When she came over to give me this coffee mug, we were having a wine and hot tub night. We didn't drink a lot of wine. We each had one glass of wine. And we sat in the hot tub and it was raining outside. It was kind of yuck. But the hot tub was amazing. It was cold air. And so it was like a perfect setting just to sit and chat. And we haven't talked in a long time. And I was filling her in a little bit on what we're up to with Fit Me and what's happening next year. Like I told you guys about yesterday, we're starting these new free games in the Facebook group and we're certifying Fit Me community leaders. And obviously we have our coaching program and all of that great stuff. And I was telling her about it. And I was telling her what's so funny about community and about people is that it's usually a lot less fancy than people think when people come together to support each other and do the thing. A lot of times, you look online and it's like, yay, this big event, like, come on over. It's going to be this amazing community. And like, oh, like, hey, here's this fancy sign up for this, this, and this. And that's all fine. Like, none of that's bad. I mean, we do some of that too with Fit Me. But I was telling her, and this is what I wanted to share on Coffee Talk this morning, was that when I was in that year of transition where I was trying to create a healthy lifestyle for the first time, and I was going from 45 pounds overweight to being at a healthy body weight. And I was making those changes a little bit by little bit by little bit. One of the things that really, really made a difference to me was community. And it wasn't one of those fancy sign up communities or like, big event sort of things. It was very organic and very grassroots. And what I mean by that is, I remember starting a walking club and I started a Facebook group and I called it the Salisbury Walking Club. Salisbury, Maryland is where I was living at the time. And I invited people I didn't know. Like I invited a few people I did know and then a couple people I didn't know. I mean, these were like mutual connections. It wasn't just straight strangers. But we were sort of a mess, to be honest. We would show up. Some people would show up a few minutes late. We would have kids. We'd have dogs. Sometimes things would go wrong during the walk. Somebody would have to leave. It was sometimes a lot of people were there. Sometimes it was two people. It was just very grassroots. It was like, who can walk tomorrow? And I would post it in the Facebook group and I'd say, see you guys there at 8:30. And we would walk. And we'd walk 3 to 5 miles in just this big loop around the park. Whoever could come. And we did that, 2 to 3 times a week. But it wasn't fancy. It did need me as sort of a leader-ish. At the time, I wasn't really feeling like a leader. I just was organizing it. I just put the Facebook group together and invited people and would set the time. That's what I did. And I would show up and do it because I needed to do it for myself. And so then it just made sense because I didn't want to do it by myself. I wanted to do it for myself, but not by myself. And so then I would just invite other people, and that's how we did it. But it was very, not fancy. We didn't have special shirts or, anything. It was just us doing the thing. And I remember going to boot camp class that year. My now friend Dante, who's the trainer, invited me to this class. And he always ran 2 classes back to back. So he would run an 8 a.m. class and a 9 a.m. class. Both of them were in the park. He had, not fancy equipment particularly. It was just stuff that he pulled out of the back of his car. It was the inspiration for when I did that exact same thing with like barely any real gear. It was just the stuff that I could pull out of the back of the car. But I would show up to his class, and at the end of the class, we always took a picture. It was a part of the class. So at the beginning of the class, there was a routine. We would do jumping jacks and everybody would say their name. It was like we always did that, always. And so everybody kind of got to say hello. And then at the end of the class, there was always a picture. And he always posted this picture with a handful of other pictures from the class. And we would, everybody would look for that picture. Everybody would look to be in the picture because we were proud that we did the class. But he would also post these other pictures of of the class. So he would post pictures while we were doing the exercises. And these ones were kind of mixed because, not everything looks perfect when you're doing it. And so I remember like feeling embarrassed a lot because he was going to post this picture and I'm like, oh my God, look. And like some of them you would look awesome in and some of them you would look bleh in. But what was funny about it was that these pictures were not fancy. They were not professional, photography. Some of them weren't good. Some of them were great. And he would tag us in them and we would get to see each other and we would get to celebrate each other's pictures. That was the magic that I didn't know at the time, was I would be looking at mine and then I would scroll and I would see somebody else's and I would comment and I would be like, oh my gosh, you look amazing at throwing that thing, or wow, like, can you see your shoulder muscles? And it was just organic. It was community through the vehicle of taking these pictures. And again, they were not fancy. They were not professional. Some of them weren't particularly good. He uploaded them to an album, on Facebook, and we would all comment and talk to each other about it. And then, if we were at class, we would make sure, when are the pictures going to be posted? And again, this built a community and connection. And it was so, again, grassroots, organic, easy. It wasn't something that was contrived, if I could use the word contrived. It wasn't fabricated in a way that was pretend. It was real. Now, what makes community and connection in like the fitness nutrition space where you're trying to make healthy lifestyle changes? What are the key factors? Because if fancy pictures or, flashy signups or t-shirts, those aren't the things. What is the thing that creates that sort of magic? Because why was that magic? Well, I went to more classes probably because I was connected to the people who were there and because I enjoyed those pictures and I would keep going. Why was there magic in the walking group? Well, because we walked consistently and that was supporting all of our weight loss goals. We all had weight loss goals and the walking really helped. And so those things were not inconsequential. The community and the connection created some of the results, to be honest. Because I had community and connection, I lost weight. Because I had community and connection, I built muscle. Because I had community and connection, I learned from other people and was able to develop my own knowledge and skill set around some of this stuff. Because I had community and connection with that leader, I saw potential that I wanted to do that too. And he encouraged it. When I said to him one day, one day I will hope to be a personal trainer. I would love to do what you do. Instead of saying, yeah, one day, like, work for it forever. He was like, do it. You can do this. And that connection with the leader of that community helped me. It created results. It created the belief that I could do it. So I signed up for a certification and I got my very first certification as a personal trainer. And those connected human organic grassroots things, so he wasn't on some stage speaking when he said that. He wasn't, standing on TED Talk, right? Giving me a motivation. It was just a one-on-one conversation. It was as authentic as you can get. It was a person talking to another person saying, I hear you and you can do this. And that's what made the difference for me. And so if you think about what actually matters when it comes to community and connection, again, it's not the fancy signups or like the thing that you wear that puts you all together, or even the stage in which the leader is on. Like, none of that stuff is bad. It's just that's not the magic. I saw a couple of things that made that season for me, and thinking about, again, I was thinking about that walking club when I started this podcast, was there were a couple things that did make it work. The first thing was consistency. So and what I'm saying, I'm not talking about the individual consistency. I'm talking about the repetition of what we were doing. So for example, although we didn't have to have a fancy, system for our walking club, we did have to do it consistently. And so having those 2 walks a week almost as non-negotiables was part of the key. It wasn't sporadic. It was, we're doing this, on these days, let's keep doing it. And so consistency is a key part of building community. And what I would say is not just consistency, but actually this is one of FitMe's values, which is reliability. It became essential that those things existed. So it wasn't just, again, it wasn't sporadic. It wasn't something that I had no idea when it would ever happen. It was reliable and it showed up, and that allowed people to come. And even if it wasn't perfect, and even if it was kind of a hot mess, it still was there. The actual structure of it was important. And so if you're trying to, or if you want to help people with getting results through connection and community, even if it's just by accident and you're not in our community leader program, one of the things that has to be there is reliable and consistent activity that people can expect. They know it's coming. The second piece is a positive or supportive culture. So when you think about those pictures, the way that we interacted with each other, where we were positive and encouraging, we looked at other people's pictures, and instead of picking them apart or saying mean things, instead it was the exact opposite, which helped squash a lot of the insecurity and negativity that you might feel looking at your own pictures when you had other people encourage you, and that culture was there of positivity and encouragement. That created a reason to continue to show back up and squashed a lot of those fears and insecurities and belief systems that you are terrible or fat or ugly or whatever, because all of a sudden people were encouraging you. And so although the pictures didn't have to be fancy, what was the unsaid part of why it was working and why it mattered was that there was this positive culture of supporting each other and encouraging each other. That part was essential for community or connection to help create results. That really, really mattered. And then the last piece was leadership. I feel like leadership, from whether it's the top or leaders inside of a community, especially when you're trying to make healthy lifestyle changes, matter. So when Dante, the trainer, encouraged me that one day I too could become a personal trainer, that mattered. But Dante was also looking for other leaders. I remember there were people who were distinctly leaders inside of that community who would reach out and find out why so-and-so wasn't there, or who would make sure X, Y, and Z happened, or helped clean up, or whatever. They were leaders. And maybe I was a part of that leader group, but it wasn't just the one leader. It was facilitating other people to help lead, and creating a space for that helped with the magic. It really did. It made a difference. And so we do this in Fit Me. It's something that I think about and talk about all the time. We want to create that magic for people that allows you to get results. But to do it through community and connection isn't an accident. It's not a feel-good high five. Yay, there's other people here. It's all, whatever. It's very intentional how this works. And so having consistency, having a positive culture of, values that come through, people know how to treat each other, and of course having leaders, but finding other people who want to be leaders. And again, leadership doesn't necessarily look like standing on stage. It's helping, it's modeling by example, it's encouraging, it's asking questions. And so, I'm on a mission to find community leaders, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it's so critical for helping people make those lifestyle changes. And again, it might be so critical for you to continue on your own. And so think about leadership a little bit differently. Think about leadership as being an important part of people change. And leadership, again, shows up in a variety of different forms, from setting up tables, to encouraging words, to details like being an organizer, to saying things and being a motivator and standing up on stage, and then maybe sometimes it also means modeling, being the person who's there, who shows up over and over and over again. That's what leadership is. And so all of those things are key. And it's inspired by sitting in the hot tub with Sarah, having a conversation about walking, and me thinking back on, why did it work? It wasn't fancy. We didn't have an app. We didn't have anything. Why was this so potent that I'm still thinking about it 10 years ago, 10 years later? So if you are interested in becoming a Fit Me community leader, shoot me an email. I'm going to put it in the show notes. I'm going to put it, in the show notes, in the comments, if you're interested. And again, leadership looks different for everybody, but this is critical. And I am looking for, my vision is to certify 1,000 Fit Me community leaders so that we can have an army of people helping others live a healthier lifestyle. And if that sounds like something you want to do, then we should talk, because the next group is going to start at the end of January. And I would love for you to be a part of it. And again, Fit Me always will offer. So really, Fit Me is offering 3 things right now. We have free activities in our Facebook group. You can participate in those all year long. So if you haven't joined our Facebook group, then come join. I am going to be certifying Fit Me community leaders to, again, just be whatever type of leader is right for you, either in our free activities or in your own community, at home or at work or with your family or friends. And then obviously we offer a program where we will coach you through your healthy lifestyle changes. We will guide you every step of the way. We build a plan, a program, and those are the things that you can get with Fit Me. Free, fun activities, becoming a community leader if you want to, or having coaching and support on your own journey every step of the way. So if you want more information on any of that, shoot me an email, because I would love to chat with you. So thanks as always for plugging into Coffee Talk. If you haven't done so, subscribe to Fit Me Coffee Talk on your favorite podcast platform. And like I said, if you're not a part of our Facebook group, then come on over to Fit Me Community, request to join the group, and I will see you there. Take care. Bye.